Good morning, Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and we're going to do a little Glory Days college football this morning to show you that all 3-9 teams are not created equal. In this matchup, we'll have the 2021 Southern Miss squad going against the 2021 Cornhuskers, and both 3-9, but Nebraska in 2021 played a brutal schedule, six ranked teams. Lost, I think, seven of those nine or eight of those nine games by 7 points or less. So they were competitive against a meat grinder of a schedule and probably actually one of the better 3-9 teams of all time. Southern Miss, on the other hand, earned their record. Terrible in taking care of the ball here. They have the maximum 1-19 on fumbles and interceptions, also sacks. Not very disciplined, a very terrible penalty rating. And of course, on these turnovers, 19's as high as you can go, 1's as low as you can go. So they maxed out in all those. So this should be a welcome respite for the Cornhuskers and a fairly comfortable win. And if we're going to play, of course, the first half in hybrid mode, which is the base mode to play the game. And if it gets out of hand, we will play the second half in quick play mode. So before we get started, too, some news. The actual official printed version of Glory Days College Football, which the base game includes 30 all-time great teams from 1945 Army to 2019 LSU and a bunch in between. That has been sent to the printer. I've actually got about half of my components for that. I'm just waiting for the charts, cards, and the game boxes. So they game boxes will be the longest. They'll probably still be a couple of weeks away. But once all that is together, the official print version of Glory Days College Football will go on sale. I'm also finishing up the last two G5 conferences of Glory Days College Football. And when that is done, the 2021 season, all 130 teams will be released on PDF and print. So that's what's coming up in terms of this game. After that is done, I will do a fictional set of 100 boxers for Glory Days Boxing, and they'll have their own little mini bios. That will be a living universe, which will change over time as the years go on. And then after that, I'm going to get right to rating the 2022 college football season to get that out well in advance of the start of the 2023 season. And of course, 2021 was late because I was just releasing the base game at the time right before the football season started, and then with my high school coaching duties, really didn't have a lot of time from August to November to devote to rating the 2021 team. So that's what's coming up. Also, probably at some point next year, I'm going to start Glory Days NFL football. I hadn't planned to do that originally, but have had some requests for it, and based on feedback this game, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the nice thing about the NFL game, it will be the same mechanics, but I'll be able to make the team cards much more player specific. Just not feasible when you're doing 130 college teams, so there's a lot more, there'll be a lot more information and bigger team cards on the NFL version. So that's where we are at. We're going to get started. I've already documented and filled in all of the Excel helper fields here. So we're ready to go. And Southern Miss will be receiving, Nebraska deferred. It's going to be 5 possessions, a half for each team. And without further ado, we'll kick it off to see which is the better 3-9 team. And I think we know who that will be. But let's get started. All right. Here we go, and right away on the kickoff, that's going to be a 9 and Nebraska. Special teams ratings down here. Nebraska on kickoffs is a B. That's going to be a returnable kickoff. Goes down to the 10. And 7 on the kickoff return. And Southern Miss, their kickoff return team, is also a B. One of the few things they did well. So that's going to be a 24-yard return. So they have good field position to start the game for their first drive. 34-yard line, and we will do the simulated portion of the drive and then jump into play-by-play if they're successful. Now the ratings, they're going to have an uphill battle moving the ball against the Huskers D. They are a -8 on their offensive drive chart. Nebraska will be a +2. And if we do, if it gets out of hand, as I think it will, when we go into quick mode or fast play mode, there'll be a -10 on the second drive, and Nebraska will go to a +6. All right, so -8. They need to get a 59 or better, and they do not, and they're going to start the game off punting. So from the 34-yard line, that's actually going to be a 3 and out, and no yards gained. So Nebraska, they are not playing around, and they come out and immediately stuff Southern Miss. All right, punt is a B rating. Southern Miss B in all their special teams, and punt return Nebraska actually not very good there. And this is going to be successfully gotten away by the Eagles. So it's going to be a 45-yard punt. It's going to go all the way back to the Cornhusker 21, and a 9 on the return. That's going to go to the team chart, so we will roll again. And a Nebraska team chart on punt return again, nothing special there. That is going to be a 0-yard return. So Cornhuskers take over for their first drive on the 21-yard line. And going out of the +2 column, they need 29 or better. And 21, Nebraska, they're going to come out and get stuffed as well their first drive. It's going to be 4 plays, 11 yards for them up to the 32-yard line. So we're going to trade punts to start this contest. Nebraska, led by the dynamic quarterback Scott Martinez, unable to get anything going on their first drive, and they're going to punt it away and C on the punt. 3C is going to be a 40-yard punt. It's going to be back to the Southern Miss 29-yard line, and 9 on the return. Southern Miss going to their team chart as well. They are a little bit better. They do have a couple of decent returns on there, and a 3 on the return. That's going to be a 6-yard return. So decent field position again as they start their second drive on the 35-yard line. And again, they need 59 or better, and they're going to get stuffed again. So not much excitement to start this one. They do manage to get a little bit of yards there. It's going to be 4 plays, 14 yards. So that'll be up to their own 49. And now Southern Miss's second punt of the game as the first quarter is churning away in this defensive battle. 7B on the punt. That's going to be a 39-yarder. That goes all the way down to the Nebraska 12 where it will be fielded, and 0 on the return once again to the team chart. Not necessarily a good thing for Nebraska. And 0, they are going to get a yard and possible fumble. All right, Nebraska's fumble rating is 1-9, and this is one thing Southern Miss does well. They are a +8. So we might have a little bit of an upset brewing, and bam, that is it. A turnover, 1-yard return, and Southern Miss is going to take over 1st and 10. On the Nebraska 13-yard line. So, we'll add +13 to designate enemy territory. And because of that, we'll jump right into play-by-play mode the first time. Now, Nebraska, they will get an extra drive in the first half to compensate for that quick fumble on the punt return. So the Cornhuskers, and again, maybe this is why they went 3-9, unable to take care of teams they should take care of. So Southern Miss 1st and 10, and you see on their play call chart, they're a little bit of a run-heavy team, lean-heavy, 62% run. So coming out of the gate, 9 on first down is going to be a short pass. And our trench control rating of 51. On the pass, that's going to be out of the defensive plus column, and a 2 there. And that's actually going to be a 9-yard completion given up by the Huskers. So down to the 4-yard line, 2nd down and 1, and Southern Miss about to stun the Cornhuskers early on in this one. And the recipient of that 9-yard pass for the Eagles is Jones. All right, 2nd down and 1, up to the line of scrimmage, and they are going for a deep pass. And again, I'll explain it briefly. I let that stand because that represents the compressed field space that the defense has to cover inside the 20. So a long pass inside the red zone is not changed in any way. All right, and the trench control roll on that, 54, that is going to be a defensive plus. So the Cornhuskers making the right calls, and 7, that's going to be incomplete. So 3rd and 1, the Cornhuskers defense now will be expecting a run, and Southern Miss not wanting to waste this opportunity. And 7 on 3rd and 1, that will indeed be a run. 15 on the trench control would have been a plus 1-star result for the Eagles. However, the yellow column here means the defense is expecting that, so it moves it over to the stalemate column. That still should be good for Southern Miss. For normal teams it would. Actually, that is going to be good. That's going to be a 4-yard run, and that's going to be a touchdown. Now, hold on. We have to see who the ball carrier is and do any adjustments. 10, the ball carrier is Richard. He gets a +2 in the stalemate. So Richard is going to go for a 4-yard touchdown run, and Southern Miss stunningly jumps up to a 6-0 lead here in the first quarter, and this will actually be one more drive for the first quarter. So they are up 6-0 over the Cornhuskers, and the fans here are shocked as they bring the special teams unit on. 0-91, and kick is up and good, and Southern Miss has stunned Nebraska, jumping out to a 7-0 lead on the botched punt. Jones with the touchdown, and we'll go back into drive sim mode now as Nebraska will look to shake that off and go down and equalize the game. So early upset alert here in this one. The kickoff, that's going to be a touchback. Nebraska will take over on their own 25-yard line. Last drive of the first quarter. All right, and 0-5, Nebraska is going to punt again, and the fans already showing displeasure. It's going to be 6 plays, 19 yards, so up to the 44-yard line. All right, Nebraska not doing themselves any favors at all, so Southern Miss going to get another shot at it as Nebraska a C punt and 2C. That's going to be a 42-yard punt. Be fielded down at the 34-yard line and 8 on the return. So B8, and that's going to be a fair catch. So at the 34, Southern Miss takes over again, and again, good field position. As we now head into the second quarter, it is Southern Miss 7 and Nebraska 0 after 1 quarter of play. Let's see if Southern Miss now is a little motivated by that. Again, they need more than 59 on the 2D10. 41, they don't get it. They're going to have to punt again. 3 plays, 2 yards, so they get up to their own 36. Their third punt of the game now, so Nebraska gets the stop again. Their defense could have used that stop after that turnover, which did not happen, and 1 on the punt. That's going to be a 44-yard punt. Be fielded at the 20 by Nebraska, and 8 on the punt return. And again, Nebraska's punt return is terrible. And they're going to do a fair catch, take over 1st and 10 on their own 20. So at this rate, we will not be going into quick play mode in the second half. And Nebraska, are you kidding me? +2, they're going to have to punt again. So 13, they're going to get 6 yards on 3 plays. Wow. And Nebraska's third punt of the game, and the fans here in Lincoln are very unhappy as we have an upset brewing. 3C on the punt. That's going to be a 50-yard kick, so a good kick there drives Southern Miss back to their own 24 where the ball will be fielded. It's going to be the worst starting position depending on the return. That's going to be a no return. That'll roll dead at the 24-yard line. All right, so 5th drive of the game. They've had 3 punts and a touchdown. All right, here we go. 0-5, and just staying with the theme, that's going to be a 3 and out, no yards gained. So the defenses are playing well for both teams. As this game is just flying along. Both teams terrible. So 6B on the punt, that is going to be a 41-yarder. Down to the 35, and Nebraska will finally have some halfway decent field position, except they get a -4 on the return. Shocking. So they'll start over, they'll start their next possession on their 31, still their best possession or field possession of the day. And the way this is going to work out, because of that fumble, Southern Miss is at their 5 drives, but we need to have 10.5, so they're going to get a bonus drive in the first half because Nebraska could not take care of the ball. And they finally have a successful drive. That is going to be 15, so from the 31-yard line. It's going to be 5 plays and, I'm sorry, 15 was the roll. 3 plays and 37 yards and an automatic first down, so we'll not need to do the down and distance roll as we jump into play-by-play mode finally. So that's going to go down to the 32-yard line. And finally we'll get to see Scott Martinez in play-by-play. And he was the most dynamic player, their leading rusher. So here we go. First down, we'll see what the play call is, and they're going to come out and throw a short pass. 23 on the trench control rating. That's going to be a 1-star result, 2. And for Nebraska, 1-star result, 2 is going to be a 13-yard completion, and that goes to Manning. So down to the 19, 1st and 10 for the Huskers. Scott Martinez brings them up to the line of scrimmage. And he's going to come out and fire again, 32, and this time it will be another 1-star result. And roll of 1 on the 1-star result. That's going to be an 8-yard completion, and that goes to Betts. So 8-yard strike down to the 11. That makes it 2nd down and 2 for Nebraska. It looks like they finally gotten their bearings here. 2nd and 2. And 5, it's going to be yet another short pass. 22, we're going to have a possible penalty check, which we will roll on after we determine the play. All right, short pass, and the result on that, 2 from the short pass column. That is going to be a, I'm sorry, first of all, we should tell you where the trench control is. That's going to be a 2-star result. So 2-star 2, and that is going to be a 9-yard completion. That will go down to the 2-yard line, and the recipient of that is Allen. So 1 to 7, we have an offensive penalty, and 9, no penalty. So pass is complete. That's down to the 2. And it's going to be 1st and goal from there. And Allen, again, the recipient of that. So Martinez, after struggling early, has come out on fire on this drive. And Nebraska should be able to punch this in. 5, that's going to be a run. No penalty. A 25 is going to be a 1-star result. Ball carrier is Yant, and he is going to get in for the touchdown. That is a 3-yard gain, and Nebraska has gotten on the scoreboard finally here in the second quarter. Southern Miss will have one more drive, however. All right, so Yant gets credit for a 2-yard touchdown run, and extra point is up and good, and the Cornhuskers have tied this up at 7. All right, this will be the final drive of the first half. And again, made possible by Nebraska's ineptitude fielding punts. Comes a kickoff. That's going to be a touchback, so Southern Miss will take over at their own 25-yard line. Outside of that turnover, though, they have been unsuccessful moving the ball. Again, they need to get 59 or better, and 64 they finally do. So Southern Miss hanging around. And that's going to be 6 plays and 64. It's going to be 5 plays and 46 yards. All right, in our down and distance situation, again, you use the 2d6 for that. All right, so Nebraska, the way you figure down and distance, again, as a reminder, you take the team's defensive rating, and Nebraska on their team card is an 11, so they are very good on defense. And then the 2d6 is a 9, so it's going to be a 2nd down and 8. So now to the 29-yard line and 2nd and 8 as we jump into play-by-play mode for the Eagles. And hoping to get out of the first half with a field goal and maintain their lead over the Huskers. Probably not going to happen here, though. That's going to be a short pass. And the rating, trench control rating is Nebraska 2 stars. So we go short pass and a roll of 4, and Nebraska's defense, though, gives up a 5-yard completion, and that is a strike to Caston. So it's going to be 3rd down and 2 from the 24-yard line. Nebraska's defense stacking the box, 0 to 8. It's a run, and a 9. And they try and cross them up, and they go deep, and it's going to be a 24 on the trench control. That would normally be a stalemate, but again, the green means Nebraska was stacking to stop the run, so they're going to get a bonus on that. That will go to the 1-star column for the Eagles, and that could be trouble for the Cornhuskers as 0 on the result there, and that's going to be a big play 1. So the receiver on that is 12. That's going to go to Jones. And this could be a possible touchdown strike right here. 7 on the big play roll, and that would be a 50, and that is more than enough to get into the end zone. A 24-yard touchdown strike. Lance to Jones, and once again, Southern Miss has responded, and they're going to go into the halftime break with the lead here. And extra points up and good, and the Nebraska Cornhusker fans are shocked right now. Nebraska will get the second half kickoff. And definitely some adjustments to be done as Jones gets his second touchdown of the day. And actually, I'll make it 1 rushing, 1 receiving. And Nebraska now has some work to do in the second half. We will definitely not be going into quick play mode. So Cornhuskers set to receive the second half kickoff. And Southern Miss looking for the upset bid here. And this is a game they definitely should not be winning. It's just how it goes. It's going to be a touchback. Nebraska starts the second half on their own 25-yard line. So here we go. Martinez looking to have another successful drive. 83. That is not necessarily good. Oh, actually, that's going to be a pass big play too. So that will be good for the Huskers. And the way you do that, you look at the long pass result here. So they're going to get a big play. And we do not include that in the normal yardage. That's documented here, regardless or depending on who it is to. And Torre is going to be the recipient of that. So let's see what we have. There is a touchdown result here and a bunch of other tasty long yardage results, and that's going to be a 6. So that will be a 60-yard strike. So all the way down to the 15-yard line. And that's where the Huskers will jump into play-by-play mode. So whatever Frost told to them at halftime seems to have taken hold as they come out in Martinez over the top on the first play. And it's going to be a running play, 62, though. That will not be good. That's going to be the defensive plus category. Now, the good thing there, though, is Southern Miss. No, actually, their run defense is not terrible, so that could be worse. That will be a 1 out of the defensive plus. That'll be a 6-yard gain. And ball carrier on that is going to be Step. So 6-yard gain down to the 9. That makes it 2nd down and 4. Martinez looking to even things up. Crowd here getting back into the game. That is going to be another run play. 55. We're going to have a possible penalty. Let's just see if there will be a flag down. And 7, that will be on the Cornhuskers. All right, so 55 would have been a defensive plus result and a roll of 5 there. 4-yard gain and a fumble, however. So the ball carrier on that is Martinez. He goes for 4 yards. Pretty sure if they recover this ball, they're going to decline the penalty. And again, Nebraska 1-9 and plus 8 for Southern Miss, and that is going to be another turnover for the Cornhuskers. Unbelievable. So down to the 5-yard line, and second fumble loss to the game for Nebraska. And that ends that drive, and Southern Miss is going to take over on their own 5-yard line. And it remains 14-7. Southern Miss looking to get the upset here as we jump into simulated drive mode for the Eagles. 0-6, they're back to their normal shenanigans. 5 plays, 14 yards, and a punt. Oops. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so Nebraska's defense comes out and gets the stop. And that is going to be a penalty. 16, and that actually will not be a penalty, as Nebraska's defensive penalty is 19-20. So no need to worry about that. 5 on the punt. And that is going to be a 34-yard punt, so not the greatest of efforts there. And that will be fielded by Nebraska at their own 47-yard line, and 5 on the return. It's going to be a 5-yard return, so they're into Southern Miss territory. So we'll go plus 48, which means we will jump immediately into play-by-play mode for the Huskers. All right, let's see if Martinez can make up for that mistake on the last drive. They're going to come out and throw a short pass here, 13. That's going to be a +2 result, and the intended receiver on that is going to be Allen. And 0, that is going to be a 2-star result. That is going to be another big play. All right, so this will go to Allen, and Going over the top again. Again, this comes off the short play column here. This will be a big play too. So out of the right column. And 3 on the big play too. That is a 30-yard strike. So down to the 18-yard line and 1st and 10 there. And there you don't have to document the big play separately because it came in play-by-play mode, so it's automatically calculated in. And in play-by-play mode, interestingly enough, Martinez is 4 for 4. Just take a quick look at how he is doing for the game. For the game, 10 for 12, 154 yards. But only 7 points to show for it because they cannot hold on to the ball. So 1st and 10 from the Southern Miss 18. And 3, that's going to be a run play, 54. Again, that will come off of the defensive plus result. And roll of 3, that is going to be a 2-yard gain as Johnson is stuffed. 2nd down and 8 for the Cornhuskers. Ball on the 16-yard line. Martinez looks over the defense. Barks the signals, and 8. It's going to be a short pass attempt, 12. And that will come off the 2-star result, and a roll of 6 there. That is going to be a 7. Oops, wrong place. Roll of 6 is going to be a 9-yard gain, and that is complete to Allen again. So Allen having a good day, at least in play-by-play mode. And that's going to be a 1st down to the 7-yard line. So 1st and goal from the 7. See if Nebraska can punch it in this time and run play out of the gate. 13, that's going to be a +2 result, and ball carrier on that, the seldom used Irvin is in. So +2, 3 is going to be a 10-yard gain, and that's going to be enough for a touchdown. So Irvin officially gets credit for a 7-yard scamper. And Nebraska has come back and finally tied this game pending the extra point, which is 0 to 89, and that is up and good. So Cornhuskers tied at 14 now, as Irvin gets credit for the touchdown. And this will be the final drive of the 3rd quarter for the Huskers, or for the Golden Eagles, sorry. All right, here we go on the kickoff, and that is going to go down 5B, and that will just get into the end zone for a touchback. I'm sorry, Nebraska will actually have one more drive in the 3rd quarter. All right, Southern Miss, seeing if they can generate some offense here. When they haven't had a favorable field position, they've been kind of stymied outside of one instance. 52, and that is still going to be a punt. So that's going to be a 3-play negative 2d6 result, and that's going to be -4 yards. So back to the 21-yard line, and final drive of the 3rd quarter coming up for the Huskers as the punt is away. 5B, that's going to be a 34-yard punt. So fielded at the 45, and on the return, a return roll of 8E, and that's going to be a fair catch. Smart decision there. So Nebraska my little symbols were not taking place here. I'll put an asterisk in there to simulate that. All right, their own 45-yard line. Final drive of the 3rd quarter. The Cornhuskers finally getting something going on offense and holding on to the ball. 29 or better. And there they go again. So unable to do a thing. They are going to get 5 plays and 22 yards. So that's down to the 33-yard line. Whoops. 33-yard line, and for field goals, this would be a 50-yard field goal, and they actually have a shot to make this. This is the max is 51, so 0 to 66. They're going to try a 50-yard field goal here. 4th down. 66 or less. Kick is up, and it is good, and Nebraska has their first lead of the game as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. And we head into the 4th quarter, and Ole Miss will get 3 drives in the 4th, Nebraska just 2. So this game is still up in the air, still a chance for an upset here as we head into the 4th. It is the Cornhuskers 17 and Southern Miss 14 as Nebraska. Possibly taking this team light as they have navigated a previously brutal schedule and been competitive. But the Golden Eagles giving them everything they want here. Here comes the kickoff, and 8B, that's going to be down to the 5-yard line. That is returnable. And 1B on the return, and that is only going to be a 12-yard return, however. Maybe should have completed a fair catch there. So first drive of the 4th quarter. And Southern Miss on their own 17-yard line, and 66. That is going to be a successful drive, even out of the -8 column. So 7, and that's going to be 7 plays, 53 yards on the simulated portion of the drive. So they'll end up on the Nebraska 30 down and distance situation of 5 on the 2D6, and it's going to be 3rd and 6 from there, however. So they obviously had a big play mixed in there. All right, 3rd and 6 from the 30-yard line. Nebraska's defense is poised for a long pass. Let's see what they get. 5, and that's going to be a short pass by the Golden Eagles. And roll on the 2D6 is 45, so trench control is going to be a defensive plus short pass. And roll of 3, and that is going to be incomplete. So 4th down and 6 from the 30. This would be a 47-yard field goal. And Southern Miss is 0 to 39. Probably better to kick rather than go for it on 3rd and 6 here. So we need 39 or better. Here comes the snap. Kick is up, and it is off to the right. A missed field goal, so Southern Miss could have tied this game, and instead Nebraska's going to take over on their own 30, 1st and 10, as the Cornhusker fans breathe a sigh of relief. And Nebraska's first drive of the 4th quarter, here we go. 55, and 55 will be a successful drive, roll of 20. And that is going to be 2 plays, 38 yards, and an automatic first down. And the way you tell that is the charts, when there's a plus here on the drive chart, it will be an automatic first down. So 2 plays, 38 yards. Down to the 32, and it will be 1st and 10 there. As we jump into play-by-play mode, and you see total yardage thus far, Nebraska 291 total yards, and Southern Miss 171. See if Nebraska can get a little breathing room. Again, both teams 2 drives left, including this one by Nebraska. And it's going to come out a running play, 31. That's going to be a 1-star result, and the ball carrier is Martinez. And roll of 2, that is going to be a 4-yard gain for Martinez. So 2nd down and 6 from the 28. Team is back up to the line of scrimmage and another run play. 43, and 43 will be a stalemate result, and the ball carrier here is going to be Johnson. No adjustment on the stalemate column, so that's going to be a roll of 1. Whatever he gets, and that's a 6-yard gain. That will be enough for a first down. And again, the optional measurement rule comes into play only on 3rd and 4th down when you get the exact number of yards needed for a first. So 1st and 10 from the 22, and Nebraska sticking to the ground. This will be a 2-star result, and Johnson again the ball carrier. Roll of 9, and that is going to be a big play 1. So it comes out of the left big play column here. Johnson 2, and that is going to be a 12-yard run. So another first down, and actually 1st and goal now from the 10 as Johnson goes off tackle, breaks one, and into the 2nd level before he's brought down. Staying on the ground, doing with what they know, and this will be another run to Johnson. And 8, and 2-star column, sorry, 8 on the 2-star column, and that is the one of 2 bad results there, only 2 yards on that. So 2nd goal from the 8-yard line. Sticking to the running game, and 46, that is going to be out of the stalemate column. And ball carrier there will be Irvin again, and he's going to be a -1 to whatever comes up on the stalemate column. And 6-yard gain and another fumble. Unbelievable. Down to the 2-yard line, and 17 or better or less. It's turned over again. 14, and Southern Miss has their 3rd fumble recovered of the game. It's one thing their defense does well is takeaway, and Nebraska fans are not happy as the Golden Eagles still have a chance. Nebraska, 1 more drive. Southern Miss, 1 more drive after this one. They still need to move the ball, which has been a problem, and they're going to have to punt here. So 17, 6 plays, 22 yards. They get a little bit out of the shadow of their goal line up to the 22 or 24. And yet another punt. Both teams will have 1 drive left now, and Nebraska really needs an insurance touchdown here to put this game out of reach. And the punt, that is going to be a 44-yarder. So fielded at the 32 by the Huskers, and 4 on the return. And again, there actually no return. That will bounce dead at the 32. So final drive of the game for the Cornhuskers. And again, Southern Miss gets 1 more. This would have been the game. However, because of that fumble turnover on a special teams play, gave Southern Miss that extra first half drive. So here we go. Cornhuskers really need to move the ball here. This is the drive of the game. Neither team has scored here in the 4th. And 72, and 72 plus 2 is going to be a successful drive. And 10 on the drive roll. That's going to be 5 plays and 36 yards. Down to the 32. All right, down and distance situation is a 9, and Southern Miss's drive defense is a 7. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 4 from the 32-yard line. As we will jump into play-by-play mode for Nebraska's last drive. And they really need to put a score on the board here. 2nd down and 4. Martinez brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. And whatever the result is, it will come out. It's a run out of the 1-star column, and ball carrier there, 15, is going to be Falk. So 6-1, and that is a 6-yard gain for Falk, his first carry in play-by-play mode, and that will be a first down to the 26, 1st and 10 for the Huskers. Fans on their feet. This has not been a good performance by Nebraska, but it looks like they might be able to pull it out. And ball carrier here is going to be Johnson again, who's kind of been the bell cow. 1-star column after the trench control. That's going to be a 4-yard run for Johnson. So 2nd down and 6 from the 22. Martinez in no hurry here. It's going to be another run play. 31 is going to be another 1-star result. Martinez is going to keep this himself. And 5, and he slashes for 9 yards. It's down to the 13-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Huskers. Methodically up to the line of scrimmage, and they are sticking to the ground game. It's going to be another 1-star result as Southern Miss's defensive line is wearing down. And ball carrier here is going to be Smothers. And 6 1-star is going to be a 6-yard run for Smothers. His first touch in play-by-play mode. So down to the 7, a 2nd down and 4. Nebraska fans screaming, hold on to the ball. And 4, it's going to be another run play. Ball carrier here is going to be Martinez out of the stalemate column. No adjustment, roll of 2. And that's going to be a 3-yard gain. So we're going to have a 3rd down and 1 from the 4-yard line. Southern Miss stacking the box. Martinez up. Let's see if he calls his own number. It's definitely a run. And guess what? A possible penalty. It is his own number. And 33 would be a 1-star result. That will easily be a 1st down as it's a 3-yard gain. Let's see what the penalty is. 11, no penalty, and 1st and goal from the 1. So Martinez fights ahead. It looked like there might have been a hold there, but no flag came out. 1st and goal. Nebraska just needs to hold on to the ball here. It is a run play, 2-star result. Ball carrier Martinez, and he waltzes in for the 1-yard touchdown run. And finally, Nebraska fans can breathe a little sigh of relief. Kick is up and good. And we are 1 drive left. Now, we're in close late mode. So here's how this will work. If, and it's a big if, Southern Miss, let's just give Martinez his touchdown here. 3 touchdowns on the ground for the Huskers today. If Southern Miss can somehow come down and score, which kind of goes against what their offense has been doing all day, except for one big play in a short field, they can try, we'll go into close late mode because there will be a 3-point differential at that point in time. They can try an onside kick, and then they will get X number of plays based on a D6 roll plus 2 to tie the game or win. But first things first, the kickoff is down to the 5-yard line. So they're going to get a shot to return this. No penalty on the special teams play. Surprisingly, Southern Miss, who was horrible penalty-wise and turnover-wise, has avoided both in this game, and that's why it is only 24-14. Nebraska has not. All right, so 3 on the return. Kickoff return B. 3B is going to be a 27-yard return. So decent field position for their final drive of the game at the 32-yard line. Can the Cornhuskers get the stop? Here we go. 96. Well, that's not going to be a punt, but that will be, I just mentioned they avoided turnovers. 96, that's going to be a possible interception. So 4 is the D20 roll. So interception yards is 2 for 29. Unbelievable. 62. So that'll get down to the 39-yard line. That's the point of the interception. All right, so turnovers, and again, 1 to 19. Nebraska's interception adjustment is 0, so only a 20 will save Southern Miss, and that is going to do it. So on this, also to get the adjust, because that's where the interception takes place. This is an optional rule for statistical accuracy. What you'll do here in this situation is I'm going to roll a d20 and subtract this from the drive yardage. That's 17. So that will actually be 22 yards and then a 17-yard pass resulting in the interception, if that makes sense. All right, so interception return first of all. And regardless, this will be the end of the game. So interception chart, roll of 9, and we're going to the team interception return chart. So for the Huskers, they actually don't have anything that would get a score. So this is just for aesthetics, basically. A roll of 6, and that's a 20-yard return. So they will get that back to the 41-yard line of Southern Miss, and that's going to be the ball game. Martinez comes in and takes the knee, and the Huskers have dodged a bullet, and a big bullet, as the upset-minded Southern Miss Golden Eagles fall short 24-14. They led this game at halftime. It was tied until the very end of the third quarter, and finally Nebraska putting it away in the fourth. And let's go do our individual stats real quick. All right. So again, things broken down here. I've already, again, like I said, I already filled this in earlier. And here we see the touchdown. Jones, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. Lance, 11 for 21 on the day with a touchdown. Oh yeah, and that very, very critical interception. And all right, so no big plays in simulated drive mode for the Golden Eagles. They played, they played as well as could be reasonably expected today, I guess. As we will plug in our final stats. These stats I'm doing now, of course, come from the simulated drive portion of the game. And again, no big plays there. The play-by-play stats are pulled in automatically from that first tab. So when I get done with this, oh, and one thing we didn't balance here. So this should be 12 and 52. Oh, hold on, my bad. Yeah, so now we're balanced. So once this is a 0 here, we're balanced out on the stats, so that is good to go. Filling in the receiving stats, and we get a -1 for 16 yards. So that's going to come right here, 2 for 28. And we're balanced on their stats. All right, so let's go over the final stats for Southern Miss. And for the game, they had only 215 yards of total offense, 79 rushing, 136 passing. Here are your individual stats. Frank Gore Jr., 12 carries for 52 yards. Richard, 6 for 29. Jones, 1 for 7. Willis, and 1 for 3. Keys, 3 for 3. Lance, 3 for -15. Jones, a touchdown rushing and receiving. And then throwing the ball, Lance was 11 for 21, 136 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. All right, Nebraska, let's get them squared away. Again, you see in the game, sometimes just as in college football, weird things happen. Nebraska should have actually absolutely curb stomped them. We're going to take this away from the least, to balance up, from the ball carrier that gets the least amount of carries. All right, receivers now. And again, all these stats purely from the simulated portion of the game. And we have a big play. Torre, of course, gets that. And I forgot to add that in for him. And he is receiver number 1. So he had 2 for 41 in big play, 1 for 60. So that's going to make his total output for the day. Good day for Torre. 3 catches, 101 yards, and then with our balance adjustment here, knocks it down to 95. So 3 catches, 95 yards for Torre. And that balances everything up for the Huskers. So their final player stats. Martinez, 12 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. Johnson, 9 for 43. Yant, 3 for 15 and a touchdown. Stepp, 3 for 15. Smothers, 3 for 13. Irvin, 3 for 14 and a touchdown. And throwing the ball, Martinez, 14 for 18, 239 yards. And again, the big story here really was the Cornhuskers' ineptitude. Moving the ball offensively despite the fact they had a huge advantage. So that's it. Final yardage totals, 389 total for the Huskers. 3 turnovers killed them, 215 for Southern Miss, and a key turnover at the end. That is all 3 and 9 teams are not created equal. Apparently today they are, as Southern Miss gives Nebraska all they want. A 24-14 Cornhusker victory from Nebraska. This is Anthony with Bleacher Bum Gaming. Hope you all have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. Please hit that like button. And again, coming up on the channel, next thing we will do tomorrow, we're going to do another Dead Ball Diaries, which has been it's kind of a niche thing, but it's been very popular with a few people. So, and I love doing it too. It's a lot of fun to listen to those interviews. So we'll be doing another Glory of Their Times audio interview, review, and reaction. And I'm still deciding. I think I'm going to go with Fred Snodgrass only because he tells a story of Charles Victory Faust. And if you know Dead Ball Baseball, that is an interesting one. And we're going to fact check him on what he says about Victory. So hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you later. Take care.